Alright, so let's, I guess, start top down and just go through general thoughts. So, Alfieri, I guess you can type it out if you want. So I'll go to Celia. I can't even say your name, I'm so sorry.
No worries. You can just say CL.
Cial. So yeah,
Alright.
any thoughts, I guess, just go for it.
Yeah, so I've got quite a few to go through. So I'll just go from mid, second last. So mid, I don't like the design of mid all that much. Mid is way too large, and that's just a common issue with this map. I feel like for a sixes map with how large this is, it's incredibly hard for a defensive team to hold. When you're playing offense, you've got tons of different angles to go through, so it's super easy to push in. On last, I have to watch 6 different things for the enemy. Please don't shoot me, I'm trying to show stuff. And it takes forever to actually try and get a good defense set up. Now, I mean, part of that is, yeah, the teams were really imbalanced for this time around, so we couldn't really show off good defense. But just in general, the issue is map is super large. Pushing on to mid. So mid fights, getting to mid itself, I got super lost. There wasn't. Now I know this is a super early version of this map, but there was no real signage to tell me where do I need to go to get to mid safely. Health packs and everything, there weren't good indicators for that. And in terms of health pack placements themselves, they were incredibly out of the way, and the super important health packs which I would need to sustain my team and everything, there were only small packs in the good spots. As for ammo, I had no idea where ammo was on this map at all, so I was constantly running out, and I had to consistently run back to respawn. Again, just way too large of a map. The issue at mid, I don't like the design of the control point just because of how elevated it is. So you have to do some super awkward crouch jump to try and get onto it. And it feels like you would want to play this like a Sunshine, to where you just, again, as the map entails, you wrap around at the point to try and capture it. The low ground they have underneath is super awkward. Nobody took advantage of that. I feel that it's completely useless, personally. Especially, if you go under, you get caught out by a soldier. So it's just, you go down there, you die. Second, you can't defend second at all. It's way too open when an offensive team is trying to push in. This yellow wall where I'm here is super notorious. I feel if this were glass, it'd make it a bit easier to defend, because I could just set up a sticky trap or something right around this corner. I can immediately tell when the enemies pop around. So it makes it easy to tag them. This rock here, I don't know what the purpose of this rock is. It only serves to, again, be harder for the defensive team. Maybe you could trap around it, but it still is one of those. Enemy team pushes in, enemy team gets a fair amount of cover. And defensively, it was yeah, we constantly had to just instantly back out and concede second. Even if we could go neutral on second, it didn't make any sense to try and defend it. This drop down, I hate this drop down with a passion. And the biggest reason is when you're doing rollouts, every single rollout, I would just bonk on this. And you had to do a super precise to get into this doorway, waddle for a while, grab the pack, and then go in. I couldn't, it didn't feel like I could have a fast rollout on this map, because again, it's too large. Last. So pushing into last, again, as I mentioned, there's a bunch of different ways to enter last, so it's super hard to lock down. And I feel like, again, the offensive team has such an easy time getting into last, and it's such a hard time for the defensive team to hold last. Because in order to successfully defend, you need to hold back. And yeah, exactly as Yoba says, there are way too many options to flanks. It's way too large. Defense, if I hold close, I get... sure, I'm here, enemy team can just, far flank from the side, they get in for free, or they can run under, they get in for free. Trying to actually defend, I have to hold back, and again, they just get so much space. It's a poorly designed last, but again, a lot of this boils down into the teams were very unbalanced, so it's hard to really get a good gauge on how this map actually plays, but yeah, a lot of stuff, but That's my stance. Just overall, I'm not a fan of it. Way too large.
Okay, okay. Let's switch to Cole.
I don't have much to add on top of that. I feel like it was pretty thorough, but my main complaint was there didn't feel like there was anywhere to hold on second. It felt very claustrophobic to me, and I don't know. You could probably try removing the rock. That might help. I'm not sure.
No, that's good feedback. So we'll go to Death to Cats.
Yeah, so COI was commenting on the mid here. I played scout, so I hadn't realized you couldn't actually jump onto this. What I think you should do is just make this level with the rest of the ground, and then these two little outcroppings are kind of like a high ground area that people can get into. I think that fixes two problems at once. Also, underpoint, the only reason people like on Sunshine has a similar thing to this. The only time people go under here is generally for the health pack or true flank. And since there's a small pack here, no one really wants that. So I think you could actually fix CLI's complaint of no one using this by just actually putting a big health pack there. And then people would use it all the time. I think CLI was on point with the, it's really easy to attack, very hard to defend. A lot of the choke points are very far away from each other, so it's easier to get in from different angles at once and just overwhelm the enemy team, especially on last. Last has gotta be impossible to defend, honestly. And this valley here, this valley is a little weird. I'm not sure what quite is going on here. I think it should be actually completely separated or widened completely out. I don't know, one or the other. This is just a little too strange, honestly. Doesn't make too much sense. But I think that's all I have.
Okay, that's cool. 6 syllables. From your spectator point of view, did you sort of notice anything?
Yeah, just adding on to what the others said. I think it felt bigger than I thought. Also, I messaged Menace, and he said he wanted to talk about some. What he said was, last and mid, he also said that were big, really big compared to second. And also the points too high on mid, what he said to me. Personally, other than that, definitely lighting was another thing. Last felt a bit dark, so maybe add more lighting. That might be a good thing. And for the limited time that I was there, I think the drop down doesn't feel the greatest, is what I noticed. A lot of people bumping their heads. They weren't able to do the rollout correctly, is what I noticed a lot. And I think that's mostly it.
Okay. Marina, you've been typing in GF and FB, so I'm gonna go to Skeptical. Skeptical, this being your map, have you sort of like gotten a different feel for it now?
Or do you have any questions for people who have commented?
Definitely. Okay, I think one question I have is this valley area, like where it has that weird
6
transition.
syllables. Do you have static broadcasting in your mic?
Oh, my bad.
Like where Suna is right now. Like
Sorry about that. Let me mute myself.
I don't know. Like I guess we didn't really get to see it, but I think someone pointed out that you could kind of forward hold this area a bit, but we didn't really get a chance to try that.
I definitely got that feeling because there were a couple of times I tried to go through the shutter room and like most of red team was there, so I definitely could see it happening.
Yeah, the problem is if they forward hold there, you can just literally go drop down, which goes completely behind them.
Right, but okay, if I made it easier to forward hold there, I guess. That could fix
If
the
you made
problem.
it easier to forward hold in general, yes.
And
Um,
maybe cut that down to one entrance rather than two going in on the left. Okay.
Yeah.
And then all the other things, yes, I agree with all the other things. They do need to be fixed. I agree. Thank you. So, anyway.
All right, Spleep, you have the floor.
Thanks, Doc. I really think I have too much to add. I'm not super familiar with 5CP as a game mode, but I was almost able to flank cap second a couple times. I don't know if that's good or bad for a 5CP map, but it seemed like pretty easy to get go through the under area and back cap. So yeah, that's about it.
Suna.
From sorry, one second. Once a team is capped mid, they pretty much hold a high ground advantage for the rest of the map unless the other team is able to reverse that hold and claim mid for themselves. There's just so much verticality here. I don't think there's actually any point where that team that's claimed mid has a disadvantage in terms of height. Unless they take a really strange route, which you're never going to, because a lot of the low ground routes just aren't good. But the defenders are often forced to use those. Additionally, on mid, there's some towers here, which definitely seem like they're supposed to be used for bombing, but the actual positions on them make them hard to jump off effectively. So they're kind of just almost pointless at the moment.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, so I guess it's my turn now. Pretty much, at least on mid, I didn't realize that this bottom area was here, so I didn't really see much use of using it. I felt rolling out from spawn felt kind of weird, having to make a sudden left turn. I missed that a couple of times, so maybe just some more signage or something. Or there is a trick you can do with lighting, where if you make that pathway slightly brighter, more players will notice it. I definitely didn't like the drop down that much. Like, it just felt awkward kind of using it. And it just feels like you have almost too much verticality, like everyone else has said. Because it feels like once you take mid, you basically have high ground for the rest of the game. So let's go to XB Man now.
I don't know. It was jarring at first rolling out because you kind of get to second, then do a complete 180. I don't know. It was hard to figure out, but after I got the rollout down, it was pretty good. Like I enjoyed rolling out through the drop down. I didn't have that many problems with it. And then for the towers at mid, like I did bomb off of it a few times, but I think it's just so far forward that you have to be really aggressive in order to get in position to do it. Like you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by walking up to either of them. Other than that, I don't have much else to add.
Okay. Yoba, did you have anything else to add? Okay, so yeah, mostly the verticalities.
Was it heaven at last?
Yeah, I think it was
I never
one of
spent any
the-
time there, so.
I think it was one of the drop down areas of sorts. Is that you'd go in through right door, and then there was
Wait.
this
Oh, I
upper
thought this
area-
was your spawn room.
Yeah. No, there's this like upper area right here where I'm at, which, as I commented, I don't think it should exist at all. And then there's also this area here with the fencing, which again,
It could work if it was almost like a process heaven, where it was something you could back up into if an enemy team Ubered, but I think it's too far away from the point to be used for that.
exactly, it's too far away from the point, and it
Maybe
also
if this
your
fence
shots
didn't
get blocked
exist.
while you're in here.
If this fence didn't exist, maybe, because you could just shoot down on the point. But that might be
Exactly,
too
you could
powerful.
like play your demo here, but yeah, no, the fence here, and then also it's like such a steep ramp to get up into it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, if you're in here, you effectively concede blast. Because you can't see when the enemy team is going in at all.
Yeah, I mean, you can just make this glass like
Exactly.
process. And
Yeah,
this
no,
could work.
Yeah, no, remove the fence, make this part glass that I'm shooting at, and
Probably shorten the entrance down so it's like right here.
and move it a bit closer to the point.
Yeah.
Just those three things, and also like this awkward area here that I'm shooting at again.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
That's a another flank route into last, is what it is.
Oh, one thing I also wanted to point out, in the far like shutter area entrance to second, you can really easily bomb like very high without even being seen until after you're jumping. So it's probably pretty easy to push second when you're attacking.
Oh yeah, no, it's absurdly easy to push second. It's incredibly hard to defend second, and it's even harder to defend last. Like,
Yeah.
I know when I was discussing stuff with my team and whatnot, as we were like initially going through the map, like we'd all said, yeah, second is no man's land, don't defend it.
Yeah, there definitely needs to be some height for the enemy team, especially at second, because if you have the point, the height difference is astronomical.
Exactly, because like pretty much the entire time you're even fighting for second, you're like on neutral ground. Like I think you only go to low ground a little bit, like when you're actively like trying to walk onto the point. But it's so easy to bully the enemy team off of second, especially like when you're playing like at this part right here. You've got high ground here, and again, because of the orange wall, I can't see if the enemy team is coming in, so I get completely blindsided. If we're having to defend here, playing to back out, we have low ground. We immediately have to run. It's not something like process, again, using process second as an example here. When you're like holding back, you're still on, like, you have high ground against the enemy team, and if they're on the point, you're at neutral. At no point, unless you're like holding at 1 or you're getting ready to back into lobby, are you at low ground on that second. This pretty much all viable defenses for the second are low ground with the enemy. And again, same thing for last. Last, you're on low ground. You're having to deal with tons of different flanks, so you can't realistically hold. Like I know I was able to hold like 2 doors, but then there's again like 4 other entrances for a flank to get through. Yeah. And yeah, no, I already commented on that drop down. I'd remove the glass personally. That glass doesn't, like, I know it's to block shots and everything, but you're only going to like bonk on it, and the geometry is so awkward for it.
Okay. If no one has any other additional thoughts, I will stop the recording, exec, and switch to the next map.
What is the next map investment?
I can tell you what the next map is.
I was going to do Koth Square Sill or Foundry Pro.
Please not Foundry Pro.
Wait, Foundry.
Foundry Pro?
That is the thing.
That sounds amazing.
Yo,
I'm
Foundry?
honestly interested to see what they've done with